Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Point of View by Harbinger Systems. My name is Jomi John, and I'm the host of this series where we talk about the most frequently asked questions in HR Tech and EdTech, backed, of course, by Harbinger's own research and experience in this area. In today's Point of View, we will be discussing about designing digital educational products for improving student engagement. Let me now introduce my co-host, Ulhas, who has over 2 decades of experience in the IT industry as a business consultant and has also worked in the education domain for over 7 years. And both of us will be chatting up with Smita, who is an expert consultant in designing digital products which produce delightful user experiences. A very warm welcome to you, Ulhas, and to you as well, Smita.
Thank you, Jomi. Hi, Ullas.
Hi. Thank you, Jomi and Smita. Welcome. Yeah, and as a co-host, let me introduce Jomi to our viewers. Jomi has more than 10 years of experience in IT consulting and has great knowledge and expertise in various topics in HR tech and EdTech. So thank you, Jomi, and welcome everybody.
Thanks for that introduction, Ulhas. And I think let's move to the topic that we all are really curious to know about, and try to understand why student engagement is such a hot button for both students and learners across the globe. By now, I think everyone would acknowledge the fact that the education landscape around us is changing rapidly. It was also, before we were struck by COVID-19. However, I think the pandemic just sort of accelerated the entire disruption process. What is really interesting is that these changes that are happening, they are not at a specific focal point, but they are affecting students, especially across all age groups, especially K-12, higher education, and even for that matter, adult learning. So I think with all these new and different teaching methods that are happening across different digital apps, sustaining learner engagement, especially on those apps, is becoming a really big challenge for many educators and trainers across the globe. So the need of the hour is therefore to blend instructional pedagogy along with innovative use of technology. And I think that's what we are here for. How do we decode that, and how do we bring that enhanced user experience and design into our EdTech product development? Before we go to our design expert, who I'm sure she's full of ideas for this topic, let me just quickly check with Ulhas. And Ulhas, I really want to know from you, since you have been in the education domain for so long, what do you think are the key things that students are looking for in, such kind of educational apps?
Yeah, sure, Jomi. So based on our conversation, not just with students, but also with educators, parents, and digital product companies that are building EdTech products, let me highlight three key things. Yeah, the first is navigation. Yeah, absolutely necessary. The interface has to be absolutely intuitive, so that navigation becomes extremely easy. Second is continuous feedback. The learners need to know how they're progressing, and therefore the learning platform needs to have a mechanism to provide this feedback. This also encourages students and keeps them motivated. The third point is that the entire experience of learning online has to be positive. It should evoke emotions of joy and happiness, especially for school children. So the 3 points that I would like to highlight are ease of navigation, continuous feedback, and overall very positive experience.
Agreed. And I totally relate to it because I have a 4-year-old daughter who has just begun school. This is her first year of school. And I see how she's navigating these apps that are provided by the school. And not just her, but even her teachers, and how they are interacting with the different features that are available with the platform that they're using. So I think that brings another important question, considering that these are two different types of users in the entire space, which is the student and of course the educator or the teacher, and there could be more, which could be parents as well, someone like me. And I think Smitha, you would be the right person to answer this. So do you think that the parameters that Ulhas just mentioned, would they be applicable to all these different types of student personas across each of those learning spaces, such as K-12 or higher education, or even adult learning for that matter? What do you think?
Okay. So, Jomi, well, at a broad level, the answer would be yes. The
Hmm.
only thing I would like to add is based on the student persona, there could be various factors. So, for example, happy and playful emotion are more relevant for K-12. And when it comes to adult learning, the desired experience could be to make learner more give a sense of accomplishment or achievement. So once you understand student persona, you can create positive experience for sure.
Hmm.
Yes, Smita, I agree with that. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So now for the audience, which is basically building tech products, how do they incorporate, or, what do they include in terms of student engagement, in their platforms?
Mhm. So, Ullas, when we talk about student engagement, we need to understand that it gets built on various experiences that
Mhm.
they have while interacting with these applications. So, unless we know how their experience journey is with these applications, we will not be able to craft the appropriate experience for them. So, this is where the user centric design comes in. The role of user-centric design in EdTech product is to identify different personas, their experience journey, and
Mhm.
impact, whether it is positive or negative, on student engagement. Let me give you an example to make it little easy for you to understand. So Veronica is a student of K-12. She's interacting with the virtual classroom kind of application, uh, and she needs to submit overdue assignment. She gets a reminder, but she struggles to find out the appropriate link to upload her work against the project. So when I say she struggles, this is exactly the gap in the navigation. So user experience research can help to identify the exact gap in the navigation. And it also helps to provide the solution to make the navigation seamless.
Yes, Seema, absolutely. I think it's very well explained in a very simplified manner. And I agree, Veronica's example is perfect for ensuring, ease of navigation. Thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me share one more example with you. We created one mobile app to deliver Netflix kind of learning experience for teenager learners. The business need was to create a unique and engaging learning program for nicotine addicted teenagers. So while designing this program, we faced two challenges. One, it was essential to ensure that learning program doesn't scare the learners. Rather, it should motivate and encourage them to complete the entire program to achieve their goal of quitting the nicotine. The second important problem or challenge which we faced is, considering the topic is very sensitive, it was necessary to give the learner a mechanism through which they can evaluate their own performance. And to address this challenge, two different challenge, what we have done is, first we chunk the content into smaller modules and presented them it as a series and episodes, and this kept the thrill alive since students were always uh, en- encountering the new things or different things. So they were motivated to see the new things in new episodes. And to address the second problem, what we have done is we gave them the real time performance insight through the dashboard. And that real time performance insights were helpful for them to achieve their goal, which is calling it quick.
That's so cool, right? Like a Netflix like learning experience. I know how helpful that is and how addictive that is, but I'm glad that it helped students get rid of their own addiction, and especially such a sensitive topic and such a sensitive audience as well. I think that was really very insightful. Uh, but just to get to a little bit more detail, how do you actually purposefully go about designing such experiences, right? Could you help us with some best practices, or anything that you would like to share?
Sure, Jumi. Let me make it little simple and not very complex. Usually, the way we take the UX approach to help the product in different stages. So let me explain you different stages of the product and how the UX approach works. When product is in initial stage where it is just a concept or idea level, what we do is we do iterative process of user-centric design, which includes persona, task flows, information architecture, and low and high fidelity prototypes. If the product is already launched and it has stable student base, then we prefer to use tools like journey mapping or empathy mapping to enhance user experience to the next level. If product is a kind of a legacy product which due for the redesigning, we usually do the combination of UX research as well as user centric design approach. So this is how we do for the UX approach for different stages of the product.
So basically, what you're saying is, you look at the stage at which the product is, and then you decide how many pieces of UX research, empathy mapping, journey mapping, and all those additional pieces should you use as, as tools for getting clarity as to how the product can do well. That's really interesting, and I think we're inching towards the close of the session, but I think we have sufficient time to just quickly ask you, if you have to summarize, what are the five key things that edtech product developers should keep in mind when they design such products. I'm sorry, for especially keeping student engagement in mind. What should they?
Okay, so Jomi, very first thing is know your users or know your students. So though it sounds very obvious, but it is very important that we should know our learners, and when we know them, then we can try to think like them.
Mhm.
The second most important is we should clearly state whether the product is being designed to deliver learning, to informational or entertainment. Okay. Then the third one is we need to identify the trigger of students' motivation and then design around it. Okay. The fourth one is identify if the product will be used as a standalone product or it is there is a possibility of this product is a part of bigger ecosystem. So if it is integrated in a bigger ecosystem, then the user experience should be very seamless with other integrated products. And the last one, which is fifth one, is UX approach. And this UX approach will be based on the product stages. So identify the product stage, whether it is in ideation stage or it is evolving with the active user base or it is a legacy product which is due for the revamp. That will define the UX approach. So these are the five key points which we should remember.
Yes, Smita, I think it's very well, very well summarized. But I know that the topic is vast, and I think each of these points we could do a separate point of view session. Yeah, but since we're running out of time, let me just ask you a quick question. So, would the approach be different for edtech companies that are targeting not the Q12, but they're targeting, skilling and reskilling, for their platforms? Would their design approach be different?
Okay. Overall approach will remain same. However, the influencing factors will vary based on the learner's persona, which will surely different in case of skilling platform.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Great, thanks so much. I think that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
and thanks, Ulhas, and thank you, Smita, for all these lovely questions and perspectives that both of you have brought through in this point of view session. And as far as our audience is concerned, if you have any questions, feel free to write to us at consulting@harbingergroup.com. And you could also drop us a comment below, and we'll try to get back to you as quickly as possible. And if you have missed any of our previous point of view sessions, you could also check out recordings of the same on our website, which is www.harbinger-systems.com. And if you would like to stay updated on many more such point of view sessions, then feel free to follow us on our social media handles, and I'm sure you would be updated on the same. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to bringing many more such point of view sessions based on the questions that you have. So feel free to let us know. And thank you for your time, and stay tuned.
Thank you.